All right, we're live again. Matt, you want to introduce us?
Yeah, sure. So, you know what? In the next time we do this, we're going to definitely have like an intro. Like, there's got to be music. Like, I was looking at the Miami Vice intro. I'm like, that is way cooler than you and me just doing this right now. So we have to have something. So I'll get something for next time. Today we're going to have Dave Brewer. He's one of the AWS architects over at Softchoice. He's going to be talking about, I guess, a little bit of F5 Nginx stuff that he does, but mostly we are bringing him in because he does this super cool stuff he's doing all these automation type projects. I'm going to show you one quick video right now before we pull him in here. Let's do this. Boom. This is one of his most recent flights. This is on his YouTube channel. We'll throw the link in the notes at the end too. This is flying through the office, so this is after hours. I don't know if we're going to get a live flight tonight, but he's over in the left. He's over in the left. If you just turn left right there, you would have caught him. Anyways, this is where he's sitting right now. So I'm going to pop this out, and
that's sort of like one of those embedded reality things where people are watching us watch YouTube on YouTube.
Yeah. Okay. I'm bringing Dave in here. So. Dave Brewer, welcome to my man Robin.
Great, thanks for having me.
To the kind of what we do here is we keep it to about 20 minutes. We talk about kind of tech and whatever, just what we're interested in. And I know that every time I come into the Softchoice office, I easily burn an hour doing nothing work-related. Well, not directly work-related for me, but about drones and garage doors and automation projects and everything. I'm a subscriber to his channel as well too, and so every time he has a new video of a new drone or a new trick or a new toy, he's got it on there too. So I would definitely say check that out. I'll put his YouTube channel in there. I think it's cool videos, but.
Yeah, there's so many videos up there. How did you get into drones? Like, was it progression from like remote control cars and stuff, or?
It was. I mean, my background is the sort of on-prem data center, and since I've moved to the cloud, I've always had the roots in the physical hardware. So as I got to learn the platform more, I started playing around with the different services and started playing with some IoT stuff and decided, hey, can I automate things using the cloud? And my first project was actually at my parents' house. They have a set of iron gates that works on an old telephone system. So I started playing around. I tried to make projects that were fun, something I could see the end result. So I started with a big Raspberry Pi and bought a little fax modem, if you remember those, off Amazon. Stored a little script to make little dial tones. And so I got the gates opening and closing with a little app that I wrote, which then progressed into cars. And which was cool. I started using a little microcontroller to take over the motors on the cars. And then once I got past that, I thought, well, let's take it to the air. And that's what got me into the drones. And it's really interesting because I thought I could pick up the drone flying in about a week. And I'm about a month and a half in, and most of my videos on my channel are me crashing into trees or landing on people's roofs. So, but I'm still learning. But the idea is to sort of incorporate, I want to take it down a path of doing machine learning or using maybe LiDAR to avoid tree branches, because that's my biggest obstacle in the winter. When there's no leaves on the trees, tend to fly right into them because I can't see them that well on the goggles that I've got on. So
what did you call it? LiDAR?
LiDAR. So what it would do is, so if I'm flying around a tree and there's a branch that I can't see in my goggles, I'm thinking of a way to write a little chunk of script or something where I can actually get the drone to make a bank left or right or up or down or something to try and steer around the obstacle that's in front of me. So that's the plan anyway. So.
That's fascinating. There's a million ways we can get into this conversation, but one of the things I thought was interesting was my son was playing around with the DJI Mavic drones, and they kind of make it an easy point of entry for the average consumer. You don't really have to, have a 3D printer and creating your own, uploading your own firmware and stuff like that to, flight plans and stuff. But Google can export KML files and then can be consumed. And and then you can, create elaborate flight plans, including the angle of your camera and whether you're pitching sideways and the height and everything like that. Have you played around with KML?
I have, yeah, not KML, but there is a piece of software that I found recently called Copter Control. And what you can do is, I've got a little drone here I brought in as a little demo. On my stack here, my little hardware stack, I can put a little GPS board. And with that on board, I can locate where the drone is. And you can control actually a fleet of drones using different scripts. So again, I'm just starting to get into this. Now that I can keep my drone in the air and out of a tree, and so now I'm going to start playing around with a little bit of GPS and some different scripting to actually put a flight plan in and have it sort of self-drive.
Okay, so did you just show your drone? I jumped out of the picture.
Yeah.
You did? Okay. So you showed yours, I'll show mine. Look, so I got in like early on when they weren't so small.
Yes.
I hate my case.
What is in that box, Matt?
Look at that bad boy. Oh.
There you go. Oh.
There we go. Look at that. This is my little guy. It's
nice.
It's an older DJI. Yeah, I'll pull it right out here. This is without the camera on it, but it's got the GoPro gimbal on it. Yeah, it's a beast. Like the batteries are bigger than yours, and I still only can fly for like, I think 25, 30 minutes. Here's one of the batteries too.
That's
wow.
Yeah, the battery's like huge.
Yeah.
Hold your whole drone up. Your little guy.
Yeah. Like that. This fits in the palm of my hand. So
yeah. So there's yours.
Right on the strap there. So that's pretty much the battery.
Yeah, and there's my battery. That's cool.
Yes.
So this is, I guess I bought this 10 years ago. Case, drone, accessories. I'm like 1,500 in. And my 7-year-old just got a tiny little one like you have for her 7th birthday. So I'm like, my sister is not going to spend that money on one of these giant ones or expensive. So I'm like, it's got to be like, it's come around, right?
That's actually the thing that they've introduced some new laws actually, where the reason I've got the small little drones is there's actually weight limits now. So there's, I can't remember if it's 255 grams or 250 grams, but anything underneath that weight class is considered a toy. And anything over that, you essentially have to get a pilot's license now. And that the rule is a 300-page document. You have to have a connection to ask for access into the airspace, all that sort of stuff.
Right.
So what I've done, the reason it's small, it's got a lot of tech on here. I mean, I've got a HD camera, like a DVR recorder, upgraded video, all that kind of fun stuff. This thing with a 4-cell battery, it's super quick. Actually weighs 249.5 grams. So wow. I'm literally half a gram off the weight limit with a full 4-cell battery attached to it. So that's the reason it's small. But the amount of tech that you can pack now in a small drone is incredible. Like I pull the SD card out of here and throw it into my Mac or whatever, and the quality is unreal. And there's videos with this. It's called a Rabbit 349. And these things with the props that I got on here, they've clocked it at about 180 kilometers an hour. So it's a fast little bird, and it's got great video. So it's my favorite.
Actually, we work with a guy who's got his license. I think he might even be on. Is Dennis on watching us now? Dennis, send us a message right now. And you know what, Dennis, if you know the link to the website where you can do the exam, throw that in the chat comments. So he told me about that early on, like as soon as they came out with those tests. So I think he's licensed now to do it as well too.
Yeah, it's pretty intense from what I saw. There's you have to learn to read weather maps. You have to get a call sign. You got to communicate with the closest air traffic control. I mean, it's effectively like a pilot's license light, if you will.
Yeah.
So it's a whole new world. So I thought it was like the RC cars. I mean, if you can slap a battery on it and get it going, then you're good to go. So
see, one of the coolest things too. So what do you have a call sign? And if you don't no. Seriously.
I'd like to get one, yeah. I think I'm just going to stay under the weight limit if I can just keep this thing in the air and drive it. I'm getting better, and then start to incorporate some other stuff. I do want to connect this to the cloud. The problem, I was thinking of doing like a machine learning play, but I mean, the type of compute, I went from my big clunky Raspberry Pi and I started to reduce the size, getting into little microcontrollers, and then got even the footprint or the form factor even smaller. The problem is when they get smaller, the compute starts to suck. But Intel came out with a new, it's called a Vision Stick. So it'll allow you to ingest video. It has a video GPU and it's as small as a USB stick. So I'm thinking if I can bolt it on here somehow and have it communicate back to my Mac using like the quadcopter software, I can then use it to maybe do object detection, or I'm thinking of just being able to identify what a car is versus a building and stuff. So I can maybe play around with the flight path. So yeah, that's sort of the next phase of my my hacking.
That's fascinating. Cool, I've got a question about I'm going to step on here, Matt, because I'm dying to know what you think about this, Dave. Now, I got into drones like a lot of people because I thought it would be a great pastime to share with my kids and get them, I thought it would be a great way to bring them into STEM, science, technology, and everything like that. And my son would do silly things like take the drone down to the park and crash it into trees and stuff like that. And, I remember being a kid going off on my bike and doing dumb things, and it's sort of part of the process of learning how to as you experiment with the limits, your engineering mind is kind of activated in a way. And I just thought that this kind of small hobby drone technology in the hands of children everywhere would produce a society of youngsters that are now going to come up with all sorts of fascinating ideas. But I just kind of thought it was too bad that the government you made it more difficult for kids to get involved in this. I mean, when we talk about all of the cool things we have to know to get a license, that feels like a barrier to entry to me, and it just makes it so that, like, I mean, Matt, you probably have to blow the dust off your drone. You haven't flown it in so long, right?
Yeah, it's been about a year. Actually, do you know what's the coolest thing about what you're talking about here, Robin, too, is that's how every kind of cool tech starts. Here, I'll show you the book that I'm reading right now. Do you guys know who the CDC is?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So I'm reading this right now. And it's like all the stuff that I was playing with, like when I was in college, like the hacking tools and back orifice and NetBus. And these are the things that Microsoft was like, security's not a big deal. This is not a threat. We don't care. But this is, I guess we're full circle right past that. We do care about all those things. Mm-hmm. Like that, what I thought was just goofing around hacking, which I think most of those hackers at the time thought, they're now like super locked down. You can't get everything. So you originally had that ability. Like I was that dumb who bought a drone. I was zipping around. I didn't fly it in between buildings and stuff downtown, but people did that, like, because they were joking around and screwing around, just like you're saying, Robin. Now they're locking it down. So I guess that governmental lockdown kind of gets in quicker. Wow, this YouTube thing we're doing for the first time just got real political. Wow.
That's right. Yeah.
Yes, it's tense right now.
Are you going to be able to fly something around the office there for us, Dave?
Not really. I just brought my little drone here just as a prop, so I can just kind of show you just the form factor. But yeah, so maybe on a future call, if you guys invite me back, I'll gladly I'll hook up a UV output and for my goggles, and maybe we'll redo the office driving or something. So
yeah, that would be cool. What about like you have the goggles there, right?
Oh, I do. They're down on my desk, so at the other end. But they're kind of cool, actually. The new ones. I remember seeing some guys way back in the day, and they had sort of like the trash can on their head, and it was this big clunky set of goggles. Now they're almost like a pair of like wraparound kind of shades. They're really low profile. Yeah. Although it does look kind of weird. You got these kind of antennas hanging out the top, and you've got a hoodie on, and I'm flying in the field, so it's
yeah, that's why you look weird, Dave. It's totally why.
Yeah.
Exactly, but it's they've really come a long way. The technology is really good. You can record on the goggles, and then I've also got a DVR on the drone itself. So you've got the low quality for the you want that low latency video feed. So when you see a tree in your goggles, it's not next thing you know you're looking up at the sky because you hit it. So the goggles are kind of a lower quality, but then the the drone itself, you can pull out the SD card and get a DJI type recording of the video. So it's pretty cool. So yeah, this is I mean, now that I'm a comfortable flyer, I guess you could say, now I want to be able to sort of now hack with the drone. So whether being able to upload flight patterns and get it to loop around Softchoice and come land back down at the bakery, or being able to somehow send a feedback to the cloud to do some machine learning or something, like to identify, using even a Google API like the Vision API to identify stuff. That's sort of where I want to take this. And it's cool. And being able to talk about this stuff is good, because you can read all the papers on it, go right and get a cert on it. But it's really when you start tearing apart devices and getting them to talk, and playing around with IoT and all that sort of fun stuff. When you have that hands-on, I think it's really helpful talking to customers, because I could take these little microcontrollers. Now that I've played around with them, I can see use cases where you could go into a manufacturing plant and install these for predictive analysis, for failure of wheels or belts, for older things like my folks' gates that I was opening. Technology that wasn't designed to be automated or connected to the cloud with little tiny microcontrollers. You can install a fleet and then get that information back, and then you can respond with it, with the dashboard that you set up. So all the projects that I'm doing, I try and relate back or try and create a use case that might be useful, when I'm on the phone talking to customers. So
that's very cool. All right, now, Robin, I'm going to jump in with what I was going to say before. So one of the other things too that Dave was on the team that ran this AWS event at Softchoice. It was you call it Donkey Car, but it's not Donkey Car. It's
Deep Racer.
Deep Racer. Yeah. So Deep Racer is the Amazon version. And you can have Deep Racer leagues and all this kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And I think the cars are like reasonably affordable too. Like as an adult buying a toy, I think it's like $250 to like get a starter car, and then do these races where you race them around these tracks as fast as you can in some automated fashion, right?
Yep.
So I feel like there's a live like Donkey Car / Deep Racer kind of live thing that we should do sometime to. Yeah. So I think this is like maybe Dave, we should bring you back. We need a live flight that we could show you flying around somewhere in your office would be cool.
Yes.
Or one of these race car ones, or if we kind of pulled apart a car to do those kind of things.
For sure, yeah. I mean, we could do the reinforcement learning with the Deep Racer. We could do a Donkey Car. That's your supervised learning. That'd probably be quicker to set up to get a race going.
Yeah.
So all of the stuff, pretty easy to do. So yeah, I'd love to do an event, something like that. Yeah. I'm
going to start up my my Mavic here. You guys keep talking while I nerd out here.
So Robin has these for home studios. We both have decent studios right now, but his is like that one step ahead of everybody's.
Gotcha.
This is why this is why we got into this. Is just all this tech that we put in. So around AWS. So you're an AWS architect as well, but like that's AWS, Google. I feel like every time I talk to you, there's some new cool project you're working on too, or talking about customers about cool things too. What's the like big topic that you're on about now that you get on most calls about? Is it as sexy as this, or is the
no?
Going outside.
Awesome.
Right, here we go.
So my major, I guess you could say, they stay at work. My major is AWS, with my minor being GCP. A lot of customers have GCP as cloud too, or a secondary cloud. So I'm helping customers. I mean, it's not drone flying, but it is really, customers are moving now, sort of migrating from, at least in my patch, from the virtual servers and getting into more containers and Kubernetes, orchestration of containers, and a lot of DevOps. A lot of people are starting to even get rid of the OSs and going serverless, and it's on the hosted services provided by the platform. So a lot of automation. People are trying to get rid of this. The less they have to manage, and I'm really noticing a lot of people doing data pipelines and doing a DevOps play, and really trying to orchestrate and automate their whole environment.
Go on, flying around Robin's house in the dark here.
Oh, it's-
Oh, that looks cool.
The HDMI, the signal cuts out after 30 feet.
Oh, that looks cool. Though we were flying there.
Yeah, I'm gonna go grab it.
well, we should set up a race or something out in the back of the bakery.
Yeah. Oh, come on.
Yeah.
I'm looking for someone to waste my money on, so that's perfect. Cool.
I think the dog car would be a great idea. Not more than I'm thinking about it. So
Yeah. Well, you know what? I thought about like, should we set up like a deep racer league? I'm like, I know enough nerdy people that would kind of get into that, and we can do a few things, and like even I think there's some potential to this. Okay, so I also want to kind of reel it into. We try to keep this around 20 minutes, so we're at 21 right now. I think we just have to kind of, Robin, you tell me. I think it's kind of final words time. We're gonna have to have Dave back to do some of this other cool live stuff.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for joining us, Dave. I think you're probably just like a couple blocks away from both of us at the moment. So
yeah,
next time maybe you can invite us down to the Softchoice us there, and we can have a race around the cubicles.
Yeah.
sounds like a plan. Yeah.
I feel like there's not only a racing, but also I'm seeing like multiple GoPros. We need a new producer too.
Yeah,
we're gonna need a producer for this too.
Yeah.
All right. This is over the top as per usual, but yeah, more to come. Hey, Robin, do you want to tell? Do you want to let everybody know kind of what we're shooting to have in the next 3-ish, maybe 4 weeks?
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, we have a whole bunch of coworkers that are, sort of under home lockdown. All of our APCJ team because of the virus. But one thing that's kind of forced them to do is they've all now taken a more of an interest in learning how to use video and higher quality audio in customer meetings and stuff like that. And so I've been spending a little bit of more time with my APCJ counterparts, exchanging some ideas. And I thought maybe 2 or 3 weeks from now we could get like an East meets West live stream going.
I think that is so cool too. Like really. So like Dave, you and I were talking about today, like the reason Robin and I do this is we want to get better at the video piece of it and talking online and connecting with our partners, customers, whoever it is. And this is one of the ways we're doing it. And these guys have like a real life use case on how this should happen and implementing it because they have to. So Robin, I am so excited about this. So we'll get that as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Like how we do these, I feel like they get better and better every time too. So Dave, that was super cool. I think we touched on some awesome stuff, but focus, live meeting, live flights next time.
Perfect. Yeah. Sounds perfect. Sounds great.
Thanks for joining, Dave.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
Thanks, guys.
Great.
Peace. Don't drop just yet, boys. Just end it.